So the pandemic hits. And originally my full-time job, of course, everybody's working from home. So originally they did a company-wide pay cut. So they cut our salaries, I think. I forgot, but they cut our salaries maybe 20%. Maybe 20%. So I'm like, all right. Okay. I'm still freelancing, I think. Cause I still have design stuff.
Okay.
Still have design stuff. So even with people kind of backing off on the photography or
Still
not getting
working
married,
independently.
yeah, I still got my design stuff, and that stuff is still
You don't
coming
got to
through.
be in person for that. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
So I still got that. And I think, was I still teaching? No, that's why I was going to start teaching.
Okay. Before the pandemic hit.
So we had like planned out the entire, it was going to be a 6-month course. We had planned out the entire thing. It was supposed to be in person. Pandemic hit, we went to online only.
Okay.
So I got the, that still worked out. Like they actually did better online as far as the editing, because they can go back and review.
Do you feel like you can reach a broader group of students because you're online as well?
Yeah, so that actually worked out. But so I wasn't hurting for money. But then they gave us our salaries back.
Okay.
They gave us our salaries back, and they gave us back all the back pay that they owed us.
Okay.
And then that same week they did layoffs.
Ooh.
40% of the company.
Son of a bee.
So that happened. And I remember the day because it was my daughter's birthday. I remember her like,
wow, on your daughter's birthday.
But it's even worse because it's like you give me my pay back and you give me my back pay. Now you're going to just pull the rug from under me?
Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during the time they had, like, we had got new
was this
new
like right in the
leadership.
middle of the pandemic, or was it still kind of in the beginning?
No, it was beginning. So pandemic was what, like
March of 2020?
Yes, I was actually, it was crazy. I was actually doing a destination wedding in Key West, Florida Keys. And down there, they had like nothing was happening. This was
Florida?
Like, this is March. So I'm like, everybody at home tripping. Ain't nothing going on.
Yeah.
And I come home, and then a week later is when they shut everything down.
Okay.
So, like, that's March. Layoffs was May.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, her birthday's May 29th. So that was May. And I feel like we may have done the whole back, like, losing our salaries April. That might have been April, so that they can supposedly take care of operations and make sure everything else was straight. So they gave that back, and then they did the layoffs. But they had brought in new leadership, and that's usually what they do. Like, they do a complete overall, bring in their own team and all that other stuff. It just happened to, I feel like that would happen regardless of the pandemic. It just made it worse because it was a global pandemic going on at the time. So then from there, I'm like,
did you take us through like what you were going through internally when that happened? Like, you just literally got the rug pulled out from under you. So what were your thoughts first? Like
holy shit,
yeah.
I gotta figure this out. I was like, I gotta figure this out. I was like, I got my side stuff.
Yeah.
And that was decent. I was making pretty decent money from that. But the weddings were about to stop.
Right.
So I'm like, the wedding's gonna stop, but I have this income coming in from.
Still got income coming in because I know because that was good, because I knew a lot of people that their only focus was weddings. They made great money in it, but once those weddings dried up, they had zero. They didn't have anything else going at all. So that was scary times.
Yeah. So it was that. It was during. I'm trying to think. It was more. Again, I still had my design stuff. Photo shoots were kind of stelling out. So I don't think people was really doing.
So at that time, it was kind of hard to see where your next move was. I was
like, I gotta find a job.
Yeah,
I was
especially during the pandemic, because you're like, well, we can't even be in person. So what?
I was like, I have to find another job. I was not thinking full time. I was like, I gotta find another job.
That's your first instinct.
Yeah. Let me just go in and interview all these places. And my daughter at the time had a cyst, like a random cyst appeared on her eyebrow, and I had to like get that removed. So my insurance, I'm trying to figure out my insurance too. I think I was on Cobra. Cobra for a month was like $1,000.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was insane. And I had leave, so I got like the lump sum from all my pay from that. So I had like a good couple of months worth. And I was like, I gotta take care of her stuff. And then I ended up like finding like private insurance, which was pretty much the same rate that I was getting at work. So I was like, all right, this is cool. And the coverage is great. Like I still have that.
Okay.
Coverage is great. Took care of her sis. Now it's just like, all right, let me figure out the job situation. And at that time I was like, I need to go just be in the government. I need to just be in the government, just be steady, go ahead and get like the retirement and all that stuff. So I must have applied for like almost every, they call that like visual specialist. I think that's the titles I was looking under. Okay. And because that was like graphic design, some of that stuff was like video. All of it was like exactly what I was trying to do. And there was a few openings at the museums, and there was one I really wanted. I really wanted like the Gallery of Art, and I would always get to like the second round, and they would like nothing else would happen. Okay. So I must have filled out probably like 10 or 12 of those. And then at the same time, I'm still doing like my side stuff. So I'm still maintaining, everything's still fine. And then I'm still teaching. So I'm good. I'm like, I still just need to find this stability. Yeah. So full time, like I need something full time. And then there's this company, and so he's a private contractor. And I remember I was trying to get on with him. He needed more help before the pandemic. Okay. And he was going to, I had sent in my portfolio, and he liked it. And he was like, when he gets more funds, he was going to reach out to me. And I don't know how, I guess he got more funds during the pandemic. So he reached out.
The PPP.
And he has a contract with NSA.
Okay.
So I started doing stuff for them. So in the process, I was like, I'm going to get a government clearance. And then we were trying to go through that, him bringing me on full time, but I was getting like part-time during the time from him. I'm still there, but the work is not steady.
So you still have a clearance to him and everything?
No, I didn't end up getting a clearance. Gotcha. So to work with them, I can only do jobs that don't require the security stuff. So I'm not on site. Gotcha. So they'll email me if they need certain stuff. And they're doing like more, it's not even on the high security end. They're doing more recruiting. So I help when they're trying to do like more college recruiting and helping with like the collateral for that stuff, for them to get on board like new students and college graduates and stuff. Okay. So, and that salary was great. Like that's easily, I think it's like $67 an hour. So I'm like, oh yeah, go ahead and give me these hours. So when those hours coming through, like those hours are coming through, and it's making up for anything I'm losing from like my previous my full-time job. So like, and during that time that was steady. So I'm like, all right.
During the pandemic too.
That was crazy steady. And we really was like still banking on this clearance. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to just do that full-time thing there and still do my freelance stuff. So that stuff didn't end up clearing. I think they didn't have the money in their budget for it. I didn't know you gotta pay for the clearance.
It's like $10,000 or something.
Yes, and I think it might have gone up. Yeah. So it was like something crazy, especially for theirs, since it's NSA. It's like pretty much a double clearance. So that didn't go through because they didn't have the funding for it. So he had talked to me about how he was probably going to reach out to other agencies. So he was like, how far you want to travel? I was like, well, anything within like DMV area, Northern Virginia, that stuff is fine. So he said he was going to look into other agencies. And so I don't know if those contracts came through or not, but I was maintaining with that too. So that was cool. And then people started getting married again. Like they started
late in the year.
Yeah, even though like, I think during the time sometimes they might have, I don't want to say they went against COVID, but it's like as soon as stuff started, as soon as stuff started easing up a little bit, they're like, we getting married. Or they had super small intimate stuff. And it don't matter. That price is still the price.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I'm still there 8 hours. It's still, I don't care if it's in your backyard. We can get married in your backyard. It's still the same price. So those weddings really started picking up. And Yeah, so that 2021 was a good year.
Yeah, 2020. Well, I'll say for most people it was kind of like the bounce back year. Things kind of opening back up.
Yeah, so up until like the end of 2020, I was good. Like I figured everything out.
Okay.
Did
you feel stable?
No, I was still applying for stuff.
Okay.
Like I was still
applying. You still were.
And then
you were able to maintain, you were still trying to apply for stuff. Okay.
And then I stopped when the contracting thing came through. So I feel like that came through in maybe November.
Okay.
So that's when I stopped applying. So then I was banking on, okay, we'll do the clearance and we'll figure this out. Which I think then we didn't even talk about that until the beginning of 2021.
Okay.
But because that part-time money was so good, I was like, this is cool. If these hours come in the way that they're coming in, I'm good. Like I'm making more. So I was good.
So at this point you were making more than what you had at your previous your full-time job.
I was making more doing my side stuff plus that part-time.